RTA. Some of the changes that they put in, a little questionable. But I've been playing a lot today. I actually started playing last night. Been playing a bunch today. Pick Hua Young win. It's just that simple. Always ban Ran. Always ban Ran. All right. We'll pick hand guy. The CR push, I don't know why they put why that is from turn 1. I mean, maybe like Frenzy 4, maybe Frenzy something, but turn 1, absolutely ridiculous. Very, very questionable. That's what that was. Yo, what's up, Dominic? Let's see. This guy's gonna just try to outspeed me. What is the last 2 picks here? Yeah, like having the CR push from like turn 1 is kind of ridiculous. The other thing too, so like I was able to previously I could go into like a water unit without too much problem. Now, yeah, no. My Hua Young just does not live through, or does not dumpster water units like she used to. The elemental disadvantage, like the 30% damage reduction, is insane. Actually kind of nutty. Flan last pick, huh? Let's do this. We'll get rid of this. Do we get rid of this? How fast do I think that this is? I don't think this is that fast. I don't want defense break. I can probably live through any other defense break. Raid incoming. From who? Yo, what up, everybody? Hey, thanks for the raid, guys. You're just in time for just in time. Mashu, why from turn 1? Why turn 1? CR push from turn 1? I don't know, man. A little sus. Maybe Frenzy 2 would have been fine. But Frenzy 0? Yikes. Thanks for all the follows, guys. RTA is like waking up to an intruder standing over you with a machete and a boner. Not wrong. Not wrong. We're going to... I think we just delete this. Actually, you know what? I think we save the S3. We'll just kill this Watcher Shuri, and then Hua Young's gonna just kill the... Hua Young's not gonna kill the Dilibet. I should have just killed the Dilibet. That was not something that I should have... Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was a good plan. That was good. Solid. This is gonna hit. This is gonna hit. I should have just killed the Dilibet there. It hits our Violet. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I should have just killed the Dilibet with Rylet there. That was what I should have done. that was a huge misplay from my side. Actually, I just wanted everybody who came in to not be like, oh man, this guy's really, really good. This guy's really good. I'm gonna take some advice from this dude. No. Watch, it's gonna hit Violet again. See, this is left side advantage for Violet. Anybody who was complaining about Hua Young needs nerfed. I mean, did you not watch this? Did you not watch this? Actually, imagine if I like actually clean this up. I mean, I'm not going to, but yeah, the CR push on kill on from turn 1 is really weird. I don't think. Why did anybody at Smilegate think that that was a good idea? Sure, thanks for the gift sub to Epic Mashu. Yeah, see guys, Hua Young is perfectly balanced because I just lost with her. I mean, that was definitely my misplay. I should have killed the Dilibet there. I didn't think that she was going to push up ahead of me with my CR push as well. All right, so Hua Young is banned, and I don't know how to play now. I literally do not know what to pick because that's the only unit I know how to use. They do the elemental thing? Yeah. Yeah, no, the elemental thing is really big as well. Yeah, the elemental thing is real huge. We're actually gonna pick Dilibet, and I'll pick LQC right now. Yeah, more maid skins, just maids in general. Why would you pick AOL into Dilibet? Also, picking AOL with Rimuru is kind of dumb, honestly. But what do we pick here? They don't have a lot of AOE, so we're gonna go with Spectenny. And we're gonna go with hand guy. Do I go with hand guy? You know what? Actually, we're gonna go with ADS. Does the elemental thing prevent Hua Young from popping ice units? Yeah, I went into a Kisei earlier, bruh. I did like half of her health with Hua Young because it affects the extra damage, including Tooth. It was pretty gross, actually. I was a little on the surprise side. I'm actually gonna ban out of this. I think I'm gonna ban AOL because he's gonna probably ban a Dilibet. He doesn't ban Dilibet. Okay, I messed up there. I should have just banned. Okay, I should have banned Lion, but we'll find out. AOL Instant Messenger, yeah, 100%. All right, there's our counter attack. Into the S2? No S2. All right, that's good. I'm just gonna try to stun. I actually don't want buffs for the moment until Dilibet goes and I can cool down the Rimuru. That's the plan. Because if I S3'd here, whoever attacks next is going to hit the Rimuru, or the Rimuru is going to go. This will cool down the S3, so there's going to be no S3 here. We're going to get countered from the Lion though. Okay, no counter. All right, Pog. All right. Can you say that the changes to elemental advantage, disadvantage emphasize ML supremacy more? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it's not even close. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. We're gonna hit this. Okay, cool. We got Seal. No proc, of course, because left side. Left side. Do I help players with their accounts? Like, I can give you some advice, but like, I don't typically do account reviews. It just takes a lot of time. Oh, okay, there goes that. Everybody's provoked. Doing pretty good so far. Okay, Pog. Oh, now you get defense buff. But yeah, no, the elemental advantage thing 100% just makes MLs even better. Oh, there we go. We finally got a counter attack, and this is gonna, you know, not really do much. Okay, we did get the S2 here. That'll kill Rimuru, but it's not going to kill Rimuru. We're going to get the Belian S2. I should have just banned Belian here. Dilibet would have taken care of AOL without a problem. Yeah, like it wouldn't have even been a joke at all. Would I review an account for a price? Nah, probably not, actually. I mean, if you offered like a lot of money, then yeah, but like otherwise, like, man, I'm super busy. Like, not only that, but like I've always found that like with account reviews, it really depends, because most of the time it's all right, go farm some more Wyvern, man. And now with like speed aggro being like the be all end all kind of stuff with like the CR push from turn 0, yeah, why they just made speed set even better. RTA this early in the season, I mean, it's just preseason. Also, what's up, Zareen? Wait, aren't you supposed to be watching VTubers? What are you doing? Oh, that's right. I said I was a VTuber, and this is just my rig. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like account review wise, just goes, yeah, man, those are looking pretty good, but you know, you should farm some more Wyvern. Wyvern would be good to farm. Okay, this time, yeah. This is a really high quality VTuber rig, yeah. Because like actually behind the behind this rig, I'm actually like an 18-year-old Japanese girl who looks very anime. That's actually 100% true and legit. Anyone who's ever met me in person can 100% confirm. And any pictures from me at events, those are just photoshopped with my rig in. It's true. It is real and true. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you gotta dox yourself. BBB7, please pick a unit. All right, thank you. What are we gonna pick here? We're gonna pick LQC, and we're gonna pick we've got last pick, so last pick is really big. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick Sage Ball. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Sage Ball, because usually when I pick Sage Ball, people freak out and they're like, I have no fucking clue what to do against this unit. Are we listening to the Strive OST? Well, yeah, of course, it's the Strive collab, Sue. How could I not? Are you late for the summons? Which summons? For Pirate Captain Flan, you are early, because I'm not actually rolling for Pirate Captain Flan. I am saving for Sage Vivian. I am super close to pity, and I don't want to waste a pity on a unit that's just gonna be on the bench, because I'm just Pirate Captain Flan really doesn't fit into my play style at all. So yeah, instead of just grabbing her for collection purposes, you know, I mean, let's see, he got rid of Pyria, right? He's got hand guy. Let's go with Specteni ban this thing. There we go. Okay, good. That's fine. That's perfectly fine right there. That is an acceptable trade. Summon for ML Flan failed and Vivian's waiting for me, dude. I mean, 4 months. If I don't have enough for, well, I mean, I'm only 40 away. I've got enough now to pity her. I mean, I'm just gonna have a metric pile of mystics for Vivian. I mean, at this point, I mean, I literally don't care what Vivian does. Is Pirate Flan worth it? I don't know. She's okay. If she fits into your play style, then I think that that's great. Like, I think that she could work for you. But the problem is I just don't know whose play style. Like, I don't play like Cecilia Cleave at all, so she just doesn't do anything for me, like at all. So it's not really that big of a, she's just not that big of a deal. Triple S ML5 and one actual hero pull is the best investment. Oh, yeah. I don't think with Vigor that you kill her. Oof. Oof. All right, let's go, baby. All right, let's go. This will start it, and then LQC finishes. Oh, never mind. Oh, wow. Okay. And then we're going to hit this. The splash will kill the A Ravi. That was without Vigor and without attack buff, by the way. I would just like to point that out. Like, I'd like to point out that I almost wrecked that A Ravi without Vigor or attack buff. See, just pick Hua Young. Okay, wait. No, that's right. I lost with her earlier, so Hua Young needs buffs. Just forget what you just saw. Hua Young needs buffs. Okay? Yeah, yeah. It doesn't cleanse the team. It reduces debuffs by 1 turn. That's why you can't get rid of bombs with Dilibet. Hand guy is better for bombs. Dilibet resets like any silence, anything like 1 turn stuff. And she's got armpits, so, you know, that's what's really important at the end of the day. I'm gonna be real and honest with you. Let's pick Hua Young so she doesn't get counterpicked. No, man, you got to first pick, because if you don't pick Hua Young, they pick Hua Young, and then you have to deal with Hua Young. Do you really want that kind of evil in your life? I don't think so. And we're gonna pick LQC so that they can't pick LQC against me. We just pick warriors, because I'll be real, warrior is the most important class in any game. Have you played Final Fantasy 14? Warriors. Have you played Lost Ark? Warriors. Why is it that warriors are the best unit in any game? No, Lanside, I'm not pulling for her. No, I'm not pulling for a Pirate Flan. I'm too close to pity. Final Fantasy 11 best sub job, Warrior. World of Warcraft, Warrior. Warriors are just too good. You know what? We're gonna last pick Politis. We'll last pick Politis, and I am going to ban Rimuru. Yeah, literally Warrior of Light. Yeah, 100%. By the way, thanks everybody for the follows. Sweet. Sweet. I am super happy how that game went. That was probably the best game that I have ever had. Yeah, good game, dude. I played like an absolute fucking maniac. I played like a literal god in that match. Yeah. Yeah, when are we getting that? Q2. Q2. Sweet. Sweet, man. What a game. That was really close, actually. BlueStacks literally is like, hey man, you know what? Just gonna throw this out here. This is the best version for Epic 7. Runs smooth, dude. Smooth. Oh, did I see that moves subathons on day 3? Yeah, I did. Who won? They did. I was close, man. Yes, yeah, it's the 64-bit BlueStacks. You know, the problem is that I'm running OBS, I'm running BlueStacks, I'm running like a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it really doesn't ever crash when I'm not streaming. Like, that's the problem, is that with streaming, it takes up a lot of resources. So, yeah. Also, I like that we're just kind of stuck here. We're just kind of stuck here on the opening there. Thanks, Play Store, for opening. Real Gucci, man. Am I finding BlueStacks better than LD player? Yeah, when I'm not crashing. Yeah. Yeah, Paladin. Yeah, I'm ahead of you on that. When I saw that one like yesterday, they brought it up in the official Discord. Yeah, no, the main, yeah, except for Ino's here. They should just take her out of all of the stuff. They should take Ino out of all of the stuff, dude, because I absolutely hate the fact that she's there, and we're not getting her. It's completely ridiculous. Litev and Minley, thank you for the you guys for the follows. Folks, TD Destroyer. I think it would be better if you put an I in there, so it'd be Titty Destroyer. That would be pretty good. Cookie Monster, Ansuo, Niram. Thank you guys. Every time I see Ino, I get more and more depressed that she's never going to release. 10-year plan, guys. The 10th rerun of Guilty Gear, maybe around the time that the game lets me log in, we'll get Ino. Yo, what's up, Bubblegum? Dude, her Strive design is so good. Bruh. Can I get back in the game? Like, nobody else crashed and, like, can't get back in the game, right? Like, am I alone? Am I the only person? Did they just go, hey, you know what? We're gonna raid you and then break your game? Mashi's probably like, yeah, we can't have him showing off how good Hua Young is. Nope, but I've been crashing a lot for the past 2.5 weeks. Yeah. When I first heard about the collab, when it first came out, it showed Eno. I was like, yes, because I love Eno. She plays the guitar. Yeah. The KR's hacking my client. Yeah, probably. Yeah, they probably are. They're like, man, this guy, dude, he talks mad shit. He talks mad shit about us, dude. We're gonna break his game. Like, unironically, this has taken like really, really long. Like way, way longer than it normally does. Like way longer than it normally does. Hold on. I'm gonna restart this and then we'll look at stove comments for a minute. We'll look at stove comments while I restart this. Oh wait, never mind. There it goes. It was like, man, he's about to go to stove comments. We better let him back into the game. As soon as I loaded stove up, it was ready to go. They're like, man, we can't have that, dude. He's gonna go read stove comments. Just let him back in. Just let him back in, dude. Did it say Epic 7 removed from BlueStacks? Maybe. Maybe it just removed me from the game. Yeah, see? I was close. I was real close right there. This guy just got lucky. This guy like 15%ed me over and over again. Completely ridiculous. Absolutely pog crazy, played out of his absolute mind, dude. Yeah, where's the communication at, Smilegate? Where's the communication between you and my game? I can't believe it. I can see what they're complaining about now with the communication between me and the game and the servers. Completely unacceptable. We need more. Dude, I can't. I'm looking forward to match replays. Match replays will be pretty fun. It's light, and Javan, thank you guys for the follows as well. All right, Rian Pieria, let me guess. First pick C. Lilius. Oh my god, dude. I never would have saw that coming. Yo, that's crazy. First pick C. Lilius? Bruh. Dude. Guy. Can't believe it. How did I guess that? You know what? I'm just literally the Miss Cleo of Epic 7. Epic 7 Nostradamus. Oh my god, a Rimuru pick? An A-Ravi pick too? Dude, what game am I playing? Am I playing the right game? I can't believe it. I'm never would have saw this coming. Yo, what's up, Nerdy Marky? Lean B, thanks for the follow as well. FCC Spectre? I don't know about that. Oh my god, dude. All right, we're one of two. No, Arby. FCC Arby, man. All right, hold on. We're gonna pick. Let's pick C. Armin. We get rid of this. Arby's not really a big problem. We've got more than enough. We got more than enough mitigation and tankness, thickness. All right, gets rid of the Hua Young. That's fine. That's okay. This Arby's not gonna break any of these units. We'll get all of our ML4 5-star tickets on the 14th. I'm excited to see how many I get. Yeah, they probably just didn't have Spec Tenny. That's really why they didn't pick Spec Tenny there. I feel like you could push Hand Guy back. Yeah, push Hand Guy back. Dilibet comes forward, but we're gonna reset Arby's S3 so he can't blind us. What happened on the 14th? We get ML 5-star, or we get ML Pity, where after 30 pulls you get a 4 5-star ticket. I'm getting 17 of those tickets, dude. I'm not too sure how many I'm getting. I'm interested to see. Like, I never like calculated it out. I mean, I know that I did a couple streams where I did like literally like a couple hundred pulls. Do I S3 here? I'm going to S3 here. If this guy's connection, this guy's playing at a McDonald's. Trust me, I know, because I've played at a McDonald's before and I know how bad the internet is. So this guy's probably playing at a McDonald's right now. And I feel bad for him, you know. It sucks when you got to play at a McDonald's, but it is what it is, you know. Let's see. Do I hit the Arby here? God, Poon Tycoon's such a good fucking name, dude. Poon Tycoon is such a good name. Oh man, what an absolute Chad. What an absolute legend. Okay, see, this guy knew how this was gonna, he must have got his order. He must have got his he must have gotten his order, and he's like, you know what, like, I'm done. I just want to eat my Big Mac. This dude's gonna whoop my ass anyways, you know, so I'm out. I gotta go. Thanks for the Prime, by the way, Poon Tycoon. S Young, thank you for the follow as well. All right, hold on. We got call here. I'll be ready in about 5 minutes. That was 1 minute ago. Okay. Yeah, just call me when you are ready. I have a question. Which character comes with Uberius Tooth artifact? Actually, I don't know. We actually were talking about that the other day. How crazy are the new frenzy changes? They're garbage. I hate them. They're so bad. Let's see. First pick. We'll pick C. Lilius, because this dude's gonna probably pick Pieria. And then we can pick Dilibet. No, we're gonna get Apoc Ravi and Rimuru. So we'll pick Little Queen Charlotte, and we'll pick Dilibet again. Dude, Dilibet might as well be one of the 7 great disasters, because look at those armpits, man. Look at these armpits, dude. Like literal godlike. If you pick Spectre Tenebria, do I pick Spectre Tenebria? I pick Spectre Tenebria. And I pick Hand Guy. I pick Spectre Tenebria and I pick Hand Guy. This way, if he bans my Hand Guy, I've got Dilibet. I'm gonna ban this, and then just deal with Rimuru. Okay. Yeah, he bans Hand Guy. That's fine. Dilibet's gonna cut. If this Rimuru's not on immunity, we'll reset. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Going Bruiser Hua Young, what do you think of greeting for attack set with defense 2 set? I rolled 50%. I mean, honestly, I think that that's fine. Personally, I like a much faster Hua Young. Oh, fucking double resistance. Who runs ER? Oh, no, that's right. That's the slow AOL. Is the ER. Clink, don't you lie to me, dude. You are at a McDonald's, and I understand. Clink, you are 100% at a McDonald's, and I get it. Because I played at a McDonald's I played on McDonald's Wi-Fi. There's nothing wrong with it, man. I get it. I get it, dude. I understand. Did I get you? I did get him. Okay. All right, let's do that. Let's see if we can kill this thing. Probably not. Anti-crit's gonna work. Anti-crit definitely worked there. Yeah, 100%. I guarantee it. Anti-crit actually worked. Oh, look, it worked again. That's cool. That's sweet. I love when anti-crit works for everybody else. It's like literally my favorite thing. There are a few things that I love in this world more than when anti-crit works for other people. No, Ultimo. You're breathtaking. It's you. You're the one who's breathtaking. We're going to do this. Make sure we silence so that she can't S3. She can just S1. This isn't going to be enough to kill our LQC. Unless she soul burns, and then we'll see. Yeah, that's enough. All right, that's cool. Yeah, that's enough. That's fine. That's okay. Yeah, we didn't need her anyways. Yeah, we didn't need her anyways. I like that you subscribed with Prime before following. Like that's sweet. Thanks for the Prime and the follow, dude. Did Smilegate really not buff Baiken? Yeah, no, they didn't buff Baiken. They didn't buff any of the Guilty Gear characters. Okay, there we go. Reamer is dead now. We just got to keep this thing silenced, right? Of course. All right. Your S3 is not going to be enough to kill either one of them, I don't think. Oh, never mind. I'm a liar. Yeah, here comes the S3 here. Yeah, I'm a liar. You know. Oh wait, hold on. I didn't get a chance to pick Hua Young, did I? Or was Hua Young banned? I'll have to look back. I think Hua Young was banned. If I would have picked Hua Young, I would have won this game. That's what would have happened. I'm gonna make this dude. Oh, they pre-banned. Oh, okay, that's why. Yeah, they pre-banned it. See, they did buff Elfelt once. Yeah, but Elfelt was super bad at the time. Yeah. Yeah, the skill null early on. Yeah, kind of boned me. Yeah, 100%. Honestly, I should have not S3'd, but yeah, hindsight's 2020, right? I'm just inting for views anyways, right? Like that's what I was told that you have to do if you're an E7 creator. Like if you lose as an E7 streamer, you didn't actually lose because you are bad at the game. You lost because of content. You just lose for content. I'm just saying off stream, yeah, I win all day. But on stream, I can't look like I'm too powerful. Like if I just won every single game, Dude, people would be like, man, this is so boring. Plus, I got to make sure that you guys feel like you're way smarter than I am. Oh man, you banned Dilibet? Bro, Dans, what are you doing, dude? How are you gonna just ban Dilibet? How are you just gonna ban Dilibet? It's the armpits. I understand. The armpits were just too much. Just too crazy, too pog crazy. Let's see. What else? What do we pick here? Now I don't have Dilibet. I'm literally lost. I don't know what to pick. I'm confused. I'm frazzled. Let's pick Sage Ball and let's pick Apoc Ravi. Hua Young does have a little bit of pit action, but not Dilibet levels of pit action. Let's be real, dude. Am I still playing Lost Ark? I actually haven't logged into Lost Ark in a little while. I got like midway through tier 2 and I was like, man, I am really bored. Look, I'm really bored right now. Let's pick Rimuru. Who do I get rid of here? I feel like we get rid of this Operator Cigarette. I feel like we get rid of Operator Cigarette because otherwise, he's just gonna one-shot everybody with shields. Sage Ball is an honorable knight. I mean, it might as well be a knight. You build him like a knight. Also, Dan's, if your screen's... Oh, man. Yeah, he banned Sage Ball. I understand. Armpit tier list when? That's a good one. Yo, what's up, Call? Oh, hold on. I gotta switch this up. Oh, man, I pressed start and I didn't move my... my Apoc Ravi. Hold on. You're on Discord, so you're gonna go through headphones. So let me put on my headphones so that I can hear you. Yeah. No, that's fine. Hold on. I'm in the middle of an RTA session, and I gotta put you in. I gotta put you on here. It's okay. This guy's like cleaving me, so I'm just gonna probably sit here and get like lapped and clapped anyways. So it really doesn't matter. All right, talk for me, Call, so I can adjust this sound.
Sure. One of the secret strengths of my draft last season, which I don't think too many elite drafts can say, it was almost literally cleavable. I
Was it
almost literally
just
never
first
lost
picking
there.
Dilibet?
No, I don't even own Dilibet.
No, you don't own Dilibet, the best armpits in the game?
I am very tight with the units I pull. And so like all these OP after they've been buffed units, I have none of them, just because if a unit isn't outright good, I'm not gonna spend a single summon on them.
Okay, that's fair enough. And you know what? That's good. We'll talk about that later. See, guys, I told you that I didn't even have to play this game. I didn't even have to play the game right here because they were just gonna clap me. But I've got hand guy now, and oh wait, never mind. I just hand guide into Politis. Okay, and then that just killed everything. Thank you, Dans, for cleaning that up real quick so that I can, we can talk. Yeah, if you want to actually video. There we go. Oh man, look at that. I like that fucking chair in the back. Damn, dude, that's a fancy looking chair. Hold on. All right, so let me pull this up over here, guys, and then we're going to go down to podcast, and then oh man, I can't see my head. There we go. Let me grab your thing, homie. Pop this out. I'll put you. See, guys, here. Look at this. Oh, you guys can't see it because I have a different thing. Okay, let me see. Maybe let me make sure that this actually works with window capture with Discord. Last time I tried to just capture like a Discord window, it was like, nah, bro. Nah, dude. We're not doing that. It just doesn't show like it just shows me like a black box,
Mhm.
which sucks. I don't know why OBS doesn't like doing that. But let's see. Let's just add source. I'll just add where you are on this window.
Ah,
Everybody can see my OBS now. There you go, guys. This window. There we go. Okay, we've got it. We've got it, chat.
I love getting it.
Wait, yeah, he Call just loves getting it. All right. Let me shrink myself here a little bit, and we'll just put you over here next to me. We'll make the boxes about the same size. It's cool. Then, yep. Well, we got a lot to talk about that's different than what we were going to talk about the last time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff happened. So yeah, no, there's it's gonna be a lot of stuff. I'm actually pretty hyped to get into this, but let me actually, I don't want to sit down. Hold on, I'm gonna do my standing desk. Which, those of you at home, if you ever get a chance, get a standing, like one of those standing desks. It's actually really nice. Like, I have it for work, so there we go. Okay, cool. All right, podcast time. Yeah. Well, let me turn down Guilty Gear in the background. I had the Guilty Gear OST going because, well, you know, Guilty Gear. So
True.
yeah, this is gonna be a little bit like just kind of off the cuff because, well, I mean, like I said, things have changed a little bit. So I'm gonna intro here. Yo, what up, YouTube? I'm Shotgun Shogun, and I am joined with Call today on the Infinite Library. It's the first time I've done the Infinite Library in a while, actually. I don't know how long it's been. I'm probably pretty sure I could go look up how long it's been, but I would wager that, you know, it's been a minute. So I'm super happy to be back. Obviously, we were going to have this last week, and then my power went out. Well, not my power, but my internet went out because like a fat raccoon probably landed on, you know, my lines, because, you know, when you live out in the middle of nowhere, you have to worry about like fat raccoons and squirrels messing up your internet. It is what it is. But fun story, Call and I were hosting or commentating a tournament a while back, and before the tournament, we were just chatting and we had video on, and I saw that this dude had a Beanie Baby crab, and I was a little tipsy at the time. I don't remember what I think I was doing like a tournament before, and then we did a tournament after or whatever.
Something
Regardless,
like that.
I was a little tipsy, and we're video chatting, and I see it in the background, and I'm just like, bro, dude, hold the fuck on. And I just like immediately like jumped up over my chair, and I'm just like, bro, I've got the same Beanie Baby crab. I've had this thing forever. And I'm just like, that's crazy. So this is my Beanie Baby brother from another mother. Call, for those of the people who don't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. So I'm Call 8888888, otherwise known as Call 8x7 on Twitch, or, you know, Call for short. I don't really farm Wyvern ever. I don't spend all that much on this game. Like, still in the kind of 6 figures on the things, not even to my first 1,000. And I finished Legend the last 3 seasons.
All right, so basically C2P Legend in the house. I mean, how long have you been playing? Are you day one?
Nope. I started November-ish. So I think I'm about 8 months, 7 months late to day one.
Okay.
And
Fair. So you started November of the year after. the game came
Yeah.
out, right? Okay, I thought you were trying to tell us that you just like literally started like last November.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
just be like, okay, look, guys, this guy. First off, this guy started last November. He hasn't spent more than $1,000 on the game. Finished Legend last 3 seasons. Not too sure how he did that if he wasn't even playing during that time. Seems a little sus. But yeah, no, that's pretty crazy, man. Like, and that's one of the things too that like I do tell people is that. It's not necessarily always about how much money you throw at the game. Obviously, that that helps, right?
yeah.
But there's cheap to play, and there's cheap to play legends out there, and we are joined, with one of them. So it's really cool too, because I am really interested to get your perspective on a lot of the things that have changed, and a lot of the things that are going to be changing
Mhm.
from your cheap to play perspective. So
Yeah.
obviously um we got the Awaken update, right? And a lot of stuff in that. So first off, what do you think about the frenzy CR push being active from turn 1?
Um, yeah, I think it's not great. Um, so I mean, for the whole change for the frenzy. Um, so I've been in a whirlwind this week as far as starting a new job goes. Just this Monday. So I
Mhm.
probably have missed some things. Are both so? Is the timeline for both effects live? Like, do we
Yes,
know?
yeah, so
Okay.
it is live, and they are in play from turn 0. So the
Okay.
CR push, the elemental disadvantage damage reduction are alive, and they are in play from the minute that it goes live, the minute the game starts.
Yeah. So if I were to summarize the whole change in one word, it would probably be baffling.
That's that's fair, and I think that is a better term than I have seen a lot of people use for that change. I thought that, personally, when I saw it, and this was actually like I had talked to like some people yesterday about it because they're like, "Oh my god, dude, bro, this is the worst change in the world. This just makes cleave and speed aggro stronger. Why would they do this?"
Mhm.
And yesterday I'm working from the fact that like frenzy isn't active until the number goes to 1. So I mean, you never really had the attack increase or like the effectiveness increases or like any of
Mhm.
these increases until the frenzy timer ticked to 1. So yesterday before the changes I was like, this probably won't be too bad because if you get cleaved, you still it doesn't matter, and it would probably help like bruiser turn 2 players, because usually if cleave can't, even if they get 1 maybe 2 units out of the way, as long as you can withstand and not just get completely wiped out, you're probably going to come back, be able to take out 1 unit, then that'll CR push like your other unit, and you might be able to recover. But yeah, no. uh, did some RTA this morning, and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Why did that CR push? And then I clicked on the frenzy thing, and it did not have a modifier to say, hey, this takes to effect
Mhm.
after frenzy, whatever. So yeah, seems like a really weird way to just make cleave and speed teams dominate even harder.
Yeah. Um, so I think this is something of a systemic issue I've had with, at least as far as how Smilegate communicates things, where they will state a goal and then they will say, we're doing this towards that goal, and then it has the exact opposite effect of achieving that goal.
Hmm.
So like in the big balance post they released about kind of like how they were trying to shape RT in the future, how we got to this point, like the stove post, not like the long interview thing.
Right.
And like one of the things that like they emphasized is like, oh, you know, like we've done all these things to try and increase champion diversity because there were ML units that were underutilized, and by buffing them, they will be in the pool of viable units, and that will increase unit diversity. But when you create a unit like a Ravi or a Hand Guy, or you know, like beyond the specific ML buffs like Rimuru, like Celilius, like those units are incredibly choking to anything but this remarkably small pool of units that can kind of maybe deal with them in some contexts.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, those buffs explicitly had the opposite effect of increasing diversity. It really whittled the unit pool down to this sliver of units that could compete in this incredibly high-powered meta.
Yeah, one other thing too to point out as well is that the elemental disadvantage 30% damage reduction is available right from the get-go as well. And that in a way just further solidifies the ML supremacy, because I know that there was a match earlier where I picked my Hua Young and I went up against a blue Kisei. Now, I mean, the blue Kisei was pretty fast, but most blue Kiseis are very, very thin when it comes to HP. So I mean, I've popped Kiseis before with her, with the extra damage, with the tooth, even through a miss with the damage, because you know it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I did less than half of her hit points, and that was not on a miss. Now granted, there was a blue Crow on the field as well, so there was some damage share, but it was brutal. And it almost feels like, you know, if you go RBG and you literally pick the opposite, and they don't have you don't pick a broccoli to deal with, you know, with grass, then like just pretty much get effed. So it almost seems like you'll get more punished. You have potential for getting punished harder by picking RGB in the early draft than you'll have to pick them 4th or 5th.
So that was basically what I was leading into, where, you know, SG stated their explicit intent was like, oh, we're going to make the RGB dynamic more dynamic and fluid and exciting. And much like the ML buffs decrease champion diversity, I think this has literally the exact opposite effect of what they're stating. It makes ML picks decidedly less engaging, exciting, interactive, fluid. Basically for what you were just walking through, where, so, you know, you probably have enough RTA experience where you have some sense of like, by the first 3 picks on either side, the draft is kind of made up. Like,
right.
That is what drafting 80% of it comes down to, is that, you know, both initial rotations on either side. Like, that's how you decide whether you're cleaving, how you decide whether you're, you know, playing bruiser, or whatever style. It's basically defined by those first 3 picks. And if you're pivoting from there, it's as a function of how you've instructed your opponent to draft based on your early picks. Like,
right.
Nothing can come from those later round picks that isn't already set up by those initial picks. And so this change makes it so, as you were just saying, you don't get a pick of any heroes in those opening rotations. And so it just really chokes out their usefulness as, like, you know, in the generic way we view units. But on the other hand, the most of the problematic ML or RGB 5-stars that like actually are causing issues in the meta don't really care about this change. Oh no, your pair is dealing 30% less damage to grass units? Oh wow, what a shame.
Yeah, nobody's, I mean, I take that back, because I would say nobody's, you know, building like a damage P area, but somebody will come into chat, or somebody will come in the comment section and be like, what do you mean, bro? I've been relying on that extra 30% damage, man. Like, it's the secret hidden tech. But you know, that is really one of the things that like does kind of hurt that, because like if you and maybe that's their way of forced diversity, right? Let's say I first pick Hua Young. You just pick you just pick three water units, and then I really can't do anything from there, especially with her. That just like negates her like pretty hard. And I mean, the fact that the 30% damage reduction also hits extra damage is pretty nutty as well, because you know, with a lot of units, like if you use like extra damage, if you use things like SSB with drink into like some broccoli, and you're relying a little bit on that extra damage, that really nerfs that a lot. And I think that people are just going to, if they weren't already picking ML5s and ML4s like pretty much nonstop, that this is going to just make it even more prevalent, especially like you were saying, like early in the draft, because you kind of have to, and then you save like you save your RBGs for like the last two picks to make sure that they can't just like hard counter them.
And like even speaking of Violet, like among higher level players, there was, you know, not necessarily by default, but an understanding that like Violet versus SSB is not really unlosable for SSB. The way she functions with, you know, setting an uncounterable S2, which can then proc drink, can really let you win that in a, you know, fair way against that unit that is otherwise a very oppressive counter. And this change goes like, no, you thought you were going to have compelling gameplay there? No. Violet just will beat you 100% of the time, and you're just going to have to suck it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, at the same time, though, depending on which side of the screen you're on, it really doesn't matter, because your Violet's not going to get to the point where he's a threat anyways, because left side Violet has a 0% chance to dodge. So I don't think that Violet really is that big of a deal, as especially if I drafted against anybody, because, you know, it just, you know, never dodge, just 100% hit chance for everybody else. I do like the fact that they're trying to switch things up with the frenzy, and this is something I said like, you know, a long time ago. So like even when the first like when RTA came out and we had frenzy, is I was like, you know, it would be really cool if like every season they switched it up. But I think that having the CR push available from T0 is just going to punish slower players in general. I think that it is going to have the negative effect of just really making aggro, or like the single target speed just OP.
Yeah, and I think one of the big issues Smilegate has kind of institutionally is they just don't have a sense of what a turn 2 gamer is right now.
Yeah.
I think that isn't a very thing they're presently designing around in a cohesive way. Like, I'm not a fan of it, but like if I'm getting cleaved, a comp, you know, I don't know if I can say I pioneered, but I was at least very least a champion of, is just the bunch of rem comp. Like, I think something that should have cut on a lot more than it has is the base speed. Like, I run mine 4.6k 310 crit damage Meru, red Meru on counter set.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I usually would start with Maid and then go like Rem, Bellion, Mercedes, Purgus, Violet sometimes. Basically just throw as many RNG checks in front of Cleave, because the ability to play in a, you know, defensive way against Cleave is functionally dead unless you just gear gap them then to begin with.
Right.
And so like I think another way this, so like, yeah, for anti-cleave it's basically just you're forced to throw RNG checks, and also they just don't release soul weavers anymore. Like that is the pillar class of turn 2 gaming, I would say, is soul weavers, and they don't have any idea how to institute a soul weaver into this meta. I guess like we haven't had a meta, I mean, basically no existing soul weaver since Amelia. We haven't had an ML5 soul weaver since BM Haste, which is towards when I started the game. Like,
yeah, for sure. But I mean, why soul weaver when you can just hand guy?
Exactly.
Right. I mean, it pretty much does everything that like an RTA Soul Weaver used to do. Like when you bring an RTA, a Soul Weaver to RTA, you go, oh, okay, well, it cleanses. That's really what I needed you to do.
Mhm.
Let's go. And then yeah, bringing ML Koeric just invalidates that. You bring Amelia to just be the better Oxlots.
Yeah.
That's really all Amelia is. Like I mean, cleanse Oxlots. That's what she does, and I completely agree with you. Like I, have always been a bruiser. I've always been like a turn two player, and I'm wondering if like a lot of the information that they gather is from the ladder, because I feel like, and here's another topic for you. We'll shift to this topic, the difference between ladder drafting and tournament drafting with the
Mhm.
E7 World Cup mode coming up. I think that that we're going to see, and we've always seen this in tournaments in general, is that people who draft in tournaments draft a completely different play style typically than they do on ladder.
Mhm.
And I wonder if a lot of the information that Smilegate gets is just from ladder, because that's not really indicative of the entirety of how the game is played. A lot of people play cleave on ladder because, well, it's faster. You either outspeed or you top right, and with the way that the point system is, the faster the game, the more points that you get. Like you can take 20 minutes to be a turn 4 RNG check Banshee gamer and win, 75% of your games, or you could do 10 games in the same amount of time as a cleave, and then if you win 30-40%, then you're going to end up with more points at the end of the day than a standard drafter.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like that's where a lot of what Smilegates gets their information from is that.
And I think just a basic logical flaw that I think even a lot of people in the community operate off of is assuming pick rate or farm rate or ban rate or whatever metric it is, that alone justifies something's strength or weakness. Like, I'm an exclusive, Banshee farmer, and there are like a couple people who do the same, more so than there used to be when actually like was kind of starting out. But like the degree to which the RTA strength of comps, pure farming Wyvern, pure farming Banshee, is wildly closer than their actual, the number of people who would make those choices. And there's a lot of factors in terms of like what's fun, what's simpler, what there are more resources for, um, that go into making those decisions. But I think that's a good example of how like it doesn't remotely align with the actual strength of those specific styles and those specific decisions. In
Right. And
this,
I think that to your point, there are a bunch of different play styles, and I think that, I mean, we can all pretty much like assume that a lot of the people who are in charge of balance, that are in charge of making the decisions on a lot of things revolving around RTA, most likely are not bleeding edge high tier players, because there's a lot of times that they'll make a change or a buff or a directional change, and you're just kind of like, who agreed to, who signed off on this? Like
Mhm.
who at Smilegate was like, man, a Ravi, yeah, these changes are fair and balanced, except for maybe the person who signed off on them just has a Ravi, and they're like, well, I have a Ravi, so that means that the unit's balanced because, well, I have it and I am an a Ravi enjoyer. So yeah, let's just sign off on that one. But I think that it is very evident sometimes that there is a really big disconnect from whoever does these directional changes and like the reality of things. And to go to that point as well, I think that there's still an even further disconnect between maybe the way that people play the game and the way that streamers play the game.
Mhm.
And what I mean is that, and this is just going to segue to like another topic here, is that you will see a lot of people parrot streamer stats or streamer builds or what a streamer thinks about XYZ unit. But if you look at, I mean, the vast majority of Legend or EMP players, well, they're not streamers. And there's a lot of times that you'll run into comps or units that don't fit into what the community, and I put that in air quotes, sees as the correct way to play or the most common way to play. I mean, there's a lot of times I'll run into people on like ladder back when I was like really pushing hard for Legend, and they would always have just some sort of like weird, like crazy hidden tech that they would pull out, and you're just like, I mean, I don't even know what to do against this. And I think that is another thing that is maybe detrimental to Smilegate and to like the game and people's enjoyment as a whole, because if you're not doing what insert person's favorite streamer is building, then you're not doing it right.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think this honestly cycles back to the opening question for this kind of topic of the differences between playing on ladder and playing in tournament. Because on ladder, you really have the specific goal to be good at something. Like, very, very few people who finish Legend aren't good at, like, a thing. Like, in my case, it's like, I have a very good landy, I'm very good at playing through my maid, and like I understand those specific dynamics, which aren't very common. And so if I go up against a random Emperor player 5-1-6, like there, let's see, oh, first pick Landy, I'll run book Millum, and I will win from this situation. It's like, nope, my Landy's on proof. I have Aureus, you get like 2/3 through health, and I win. And so like that is, how I structure a lot of my account, is to perform in that kind of ladder situation where I abuse the asymmetry of information to my advantage. And like that's really what the ladder incentivizes, is having your thing that functions in a way that abuses your opponent's lack of knowledge of what your account does specifically. And if you can do that consistently against Emperor level players, you hit Legend, hooray.
Yeah.
However, that's not at all how tournament play functions. Like, I think the double pre-ban is very polarized between these kind of goals, because I think double pre-ban for ladder, I don't like it. I think it encourages the gimmicky nature of how ladder is structured to abuse the asymmetry of information to your advantage in a way that like doesn't necessarily promote healthier gameplay. Whereas I think what I've seen from recent tournament play, double pre-ban is really expressive and interesting for how you can express your goals to your draft, limit your opponent's option, especially as it progresses over a best of series, and how you can adapt to various strategies, whether you're first or second pick, how you would update there. So I think in that kind of context, it adds a lot of meaningful choice. But in ladder, like, unless you recognize the name and are just target banning them, which adds this weird disadvantage to certain, information collecting, which is a part of the game, can't resent it, but like also
Dude,
it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I remember like early seasons, right? Like I would talk to these people and they would have entire spreadsheets built of all of the people that were in Legend and High Champ and what units they had, what units they would pick, what their speeds were, and they would just collect all of this crazy information. And I think that the more people that play and the more servers that they add in, like, I mean, with JP coming into the pool, it's a lot harder to do that. But yeah, you're right. When you see the same person over and over again, then you're able to target ban. But I think that like the 2 pre-bans are a big band-aid so that people can just pre-ban the 7 great disasters to help themselves out,
because Hua Young did come out, and I think she's of that tier.
True. That's true. Here's a topic, right? FCC is seen as one of the 7 great disasters from the KR side, but I don't like I don't ever really see anybody first pick FCC. I see people like maybe pick FCC further in the draft. I see people, like mitigation wise, there's a lot more options now. Not only that, but like you pick FCC and that's just like an immediate op sig answer, right? Like, not only that, but I mean, even Hua Young, right? If you add like Hua Young, you add FCC, I can see the prevalence of Operator Cigarette coming back a lot. I really didn't understand the FCC being in that list of problematic units because I feel like you have LQC, you have Operator Cigarette, she's been around for so long that people by this time people should know how to play around or against her.
Hmm. And I think this even leads into a broader discussion of like how people want the game to exist because as like FCC's, she's been about as good as any other unit since even before I started playing. Like she has been consistently incredibly strong throughout the broad majority of this game's life cycle.
Mhm.
And like if you look at her pick rate relative to her win rate, it's exceptionally high. So like she is by most metrics a very strong unit. But I think the broader question that like actually matters is does that matter? Because
Yeah.
it's not like every unit is should be evaluated towards the same context. And I think a lot of what FCC does is fair. Like it is
Mhm.
strong, but it is fair. And so I think you kind of have these units that are kind of what I would say like fulcrums of the meta, kind of the basic things in which the meta rests on and kind of the underlining things that can tie different metas together for long periods of time. And for a long time, FCC has been that. But because I think she generally promotes healthier gameplay, I don't think she's undeserving of that position because I think we should have healthy units be in strong positions in this game. I think what we've
Yeah.
had recently is we've had unhealthy units be in strong position, which can make the game feel very bad to play.
Right. Karos brings up something. FCC is strong against specific drafts. All one needs to do is see why FCC is so strong, is to look at the other top picks. And I think that is a good point. Is
Mhm.
that like their FCC has been around forever. Now there's times where people will be like, FCC fell off, right? I mean, I remember the days where any cleaver, if you did not pre-ban FCC, you just picked FCC and win against any cleave. It was a forced ban. FCC just did too much to stop cleave in its track. And then, people kind of stopped picking her a little bit. They went more aggro or something along those lines. But FCC is always one of those units that just kind of comes back around. Like she's
Mhm.
never fully out of the meta. It's like Blue Crow. People can say Blue Crow fell off, Blue Crow isn't meta anymore, but then people will start using Blue Crow again, and all of a sudden it's like, man, bro, Blue Crow just wrecked my whole beehole that match. I just couldn't do any damage. Defense buff was crazy. It's always like units like that that have been around forever that just kind of creep back up. And I think it's because they're well designed units, right? FCC's job is to be a tank.
Yep.
She's a knight. Her whole entire job is to protect her team, and she does that really, really well. Now, do I think that her S1 is a bit of a mistake? Yes, in name and in function, because 100% provoke chance is pretty stupid. When you get just provoke locked by an FCC, but regardless, I think that that FCC is always just a fair and balanced unit. Like if you let her through, you know what you're coming into.
Mhm.
Like it's been around long enough that like you either have an answer or you work around it. Anybody going into an FCC draft that doesn't know what they're getting into is just fooling themselves. But I feel like it would be great if we had more units like that. And it always feels a little bit weird when they try to like shoehorn a knight into DPS, right? Or it's like, why is Fire Charlotte a knight?
Mhm.
You know, her whole kit, her whole feel just says warrior. Like I've always been like, you know, a big fan of just, oh, this is a knight they protect. This is a mage, they do finger wiggly magic stuff. Regardless, I thought that it was really weird that, and I've been rambling, but it all goes back to, I thought that it was really weird that she was considered one of the 7 great disasters.
Yeah. And so yeah, I would say like, I mean, as I said earlier, healthier units being strong in the strong positions in the meta is the aspiration for me.
Hmm.
And I think also
Yeah.
kind of going off what you said just now, I forget who said this. I think I heard it off of Car Scream. Is that like one of the issues the game has now is when a unit doesn't fall in some kind of specific explicit category, they're just like, it's a warrior. Which is why you
Yeah.
can go through like 7 picks in a draft, and it's like 3 warriors in one side, 4 warriors on the other side.
It's like the knight meta. It was like it's like 5 knight meta, but we've moved to 5 warrior meta
Mhm.
because the devs took the time and they played Final Fantasy 14 and they realized that warrior is the only class that you need in any game. Lost Ark, warrior. Final Fantasy 14, warrior. World of Warcraft, warrior. Final Fantasy 11, warrior. Epic 7, warrior. Now it's warrior 7. Yeah, we have too many warriors, and I kind of wish that they would put in better warrior artifacts. Maybe they started just building warriors because they're like, hey, who has the greediest artifacts in the game that don't have insane team synergy?
Mhm.
Warriors.
Yeah.
So yeah. But that was actually, so on that topic, I was a little surprised that that Jacko came out as a fire warrior, seeing as we literally just got another fire warrior in Hua Young.
Yeah. I don't think she's the most exciting character to me. I mean, it's another fire warrior. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Um, like she has a very high release stun mechanic, and I don't think she's been data mined yet, but I think the basic kind of
she
fulcrum
has.
of her viability is her ratio on S3.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that the gimmick of adding crown to the backline is really kind of interesting. I really want to use it with SSB. Like, I think base speed tank SSB with a baked in abyssal crown is going to be pretty interesting.
does it proc off any damage?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just any damage, and the only stipulation for her passive is the CR push every 3 turns.
Mhm.
So as long as that undispellable buff is there, she works as if she has a baked in abyssal crown.
And it's just off memory, 2 turns with no way to reapply it, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So that's why I'm thinking, like, I've seen some people talk about like sticking like Pyrrha back there, any sort of opener to try to get like extra abyssal crown, basically extra stuns. But me as like a slow turn 7 gamer, because I've got the boomer brain, so I don't really want to go too fast. I can't keep up with the zoomers. I think that putting like a bloodstone lifesteal SSB in the back behind like a Trizette and a Jacko would be just disgustingly abusive, and I'd probably just put my phone down and then like go do something for the next 20 minutes while the game plays itself.
yeah. But like I don't think shit's, especially it being limited to the initial rotations, kind of specifies her role in a probably healthy way. Like if it was an
Mhm.
indefinite thing, that would skew bruiser matchups in a goofy
Oh
way.
yeah. Yep.
Um, so I think that specificity is nice. I think for working her into, like if you want to pick Rem, usually you're very pinched on like, I mean, the only okay, maybe some people pick Rem more aggressively than I do, uh, but then you're a Revlet spammer and you should reevaluate your life. But usually, if I'm picking Rem, it's into kind of specific anti-cleave, anti-aggression options, and
Uh-huh.
in those kinds of settings, my spots are really, really pinched as far as what I can draft.
Right.
And like if I have to choose between throwing that extra Abyssal Crown check on my Rem or throwing in a different unit like, my other Rem Mercedes build or um a reviver like a Ravi or Maid or Ruel, like I would find that a hard trade to make if I'm not expecting her to get her damage off.
Right. Right. No, for sure. And I think that while it'll be fun, um, like I think that, it'll be interesting to see how she fits into things. I don't think that it's going to be as like just game breaking as like some people, have already said. I've already seen some people talking like, "Oh my god, dude, this is gonna be
Oh,
insane. This is gonna be
yeah, I don't think
crazy."
it's to that level for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, like Hand Guy exists, Dilibet exists. There's going to be a lot of ways to work around it. I do think that there will be some situations where it will be interesting, and I do think there's going to be some situations where that stun is going to wreck you. I could see it. I do see it. Potentially being good with like a Politis, right? Just a Politis with crown with the Jacko buff, just you're just gonna have stuns on stuns on stuns, and that could be kind of interesting. The fact that it is 2 turns, especially if you're like a really slow player, it's 2 turns. Is still going to come around like pretty quick, and then it's going to be gone. And if you haven't like taken advantage of it, or it doesn't like actually land, it's going to be kind of like, oh, okay, all right, awesome. That kind of sucks. But I think the one interesting thing about her, for me, anyways, the fact that she gets that stealth on S1.
Mhm. If
Like, I
she
think
hits a
that's
debuff
if she hits a
target,
debuff target, yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. I saw it, I'm just like, yo, stealth warrior. That's wild, dude. Although, what's going to happen is like you would draft her with like a Spectre Tenebria, and then you would have to hit a debuffed unit, and then you go stealth, and then they just kill your Spectre Tenebria.
mhm,
But like I don't know, she'll be interesting. She's one of those units like Bad Cat Armin. Like I like her kit. She seems interesting, but I can't figure out how she works.
yeah.
Like in my head, I'm like, man, this would be real cool if I built this way. And then I'm like, nah, man, that'll never work. There's no way. There's not a chance that would work. But maybe with double pre-ban, that could open up some more stuff.
Mhm.
But to your point too earlier, is that double pre-ban might not necessarily be the healthiest thing for the ladder. You have people like yourself who don't necessarily have the deepest roster.
For
Um,
sure, no.
and once you get up into like high emp, once you get into legend, um, everybody knows who you are. And they're going to go, oh, cool. I have one extra targeted ban against Call. Like, all right, cool. These are the 2 units that call drafts that just wreck me every time. Get wrecked, kid. You don't have the pool to be swimming up here, with the giga whales. So that's gonna
Not
be
wrong.
that's gonna be that's gonna be a little bit detrimental to like people like yourself. And same with like the E7 World Cup mode with the stacking bans as well, because
Oh yeah.
again, like we were talking about with tournaments, chances are if you're playing against somebody in a tournament, you've done your research on them, who they are, because obviously you're going to be pulling from like the better players, stuff like that. So the stacking bans, you can be like, okay, well, even if I'm going to ban this, and even if I lose the first round, then I have this other ban that I can that I can use against them, and then subsequently take like the second 2 matches or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that that kind of does punish people who are trying to be a little bit more cheap to play or free to play, because of that diversity of roster.
It certainly does. Like I had some
Yeah.
people say like, "Oh yeah, like you play a cool style that's unique. Like why don't you try and do like a world championship push?" And like I have had to reiterate how wild like that's just not remotely an option for me.
Right.
Like if I lose my 3 best units, like I don't know if you have nerds who care about gear score, but like when I finished last season, I had 6 units over 410 gear score.
Okay.
So if I lose 3 units, like my maximum gear score is like I don't know, like 416.
Right.
It goes
Right.
downhill really quick. Um,
Yeah, and so I mean, I think that even with like the Unity update, right, where they were talking about like you can just slap a unit in with like a couple other units and it's immediately max level plus 15. You still have to put gear on that.
mhm.
So if you're not somebody who has like, it's not even necessarily like a deep roster of units. If you don't have a very deep gear pool,
Yeah,
like that's going to be detrimental as well.
like your roster pool is your gear pool. Like
Mhm.
also, I've got a gripe that I haven't seen represented about this update that
Okay.
this is the kind of petty stuff that I'm not like actually upset about. Because I'm not like like with the elemental frenzy change going through. I think that just makes the game worse, and we shouldn't go out of our way to make the game worse. This kind of change, like I'll resign that I just got like a little bit screwed, and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But I had been for basically the past year and a half been blowing all of my gold transmit stones onto 4/5 tickets because I was content with my pool of Galaxy or ML5s, and I really wanted it as like I wasn't going to be able to 6-star basically into the units I wanted to, so I was farming imprints through ML5 tickets because that is where I viewed the best expected value for my account, and I think that is a defensible decision. I don't regret like with the information I had making that change or making that decision. But now it's like, well, that year and a half you spent farming four or
Oh,
five tickets.
bro.
Get fucked, idiot.
All right. Can we get an F? Can we get an F in the chat for the amount of tickets, the amount of ML45 tickets that Call is going to be getting back on the 14th?
Probably literally
Uh,
none. Like that's how bad it is.
feels feels bad, dude. That's rough, man. I mean, for me, I've always went, Moonlights, because I'm like, I could use another Elson. I just slap another one on the pile. But I mean, the thing too though is like, if you thought that was what was good for your team, I mean, you didn't have the foresight. Had you known, like, yeah, it's it is what it is, right? Like
Yeah,
you
as I
can't go
said, like I'm
back
not
and
I'm not really
yeah.
getting worked up about this one. It's just like kind of a pain.
Right, right. I mean, I've literally always want with Moonlights, just because I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, I'm also not free or cheap to play. So,
Mhm.
if I'm looking for imprints, I'll just giga whale some covenants for a little bit, at like 3 in the morning after drinking too much. That's just what I use as an excuse, right? Like I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's why I needed some imprints, not just because like I impulsively did it. But man, yeah, that is a little bit
Feels.
rough. Yeah, it feels bad, but overall, I think that the update was really good. Now I know that a lot of people were like, but this doesn't address the concern that I had personally, me, not everybody else. And there's a lot of good, but I'm still
Mhm.
mad because
Yeah,
it didn't address my concern. Um, do you think that with them, and this was kind of interesting, and I kind of brought this up in my video where I did like the rebuttal to the Car 6 Mr. Objection video, is that like I feel like a lot of people, if Smilegate comes out and they go, hey, look, man, we're going to try to fix this. Now, I think the frenzy changes were not it. I think that they will probably rescind those very, very fast with the CR push and the elemental, like turn 1. But you also can't fault them for trying new stuff. Even if it's absolute garbage, even if it's like really terrible and off the mark, I feel like they're at least trying, but I don't think that everybody will be happy with whatever comes out at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I've focused a lot on the negatives of what I've, from their recent communications and such. But like, Spellgate does a lot of stuff really well. Their new player experience is incredible. I think the rate at which they give out, their degree of generosity, if that's what you want to call it, is, exceptional. Like, it really makes free to play, or not, free to play or near free to play players like perfectly viable in a lot of the higher tier content. And it just kind of comes down to like the sticking points of, how they structure certain kinds of higher level balance decision, which matters for a very small subset of players, but those small subset of players happen to be a lot of content creators, so it has this weirdly overemphasized hole on the community relative to its overall impact in the game. And I think it's important to keep that in mind. But on the other hand, like, if you're trying to play at a high level, I think it's important to voice your concerns as one of the people kind of involved in understanding of what really goes on at that level.
Right. No, true. And I think that, as a player who has in the past played at a high level, I mean, I'm, balls deep in, all things Epic 7 for the most part when it comes to like, units, when it comes to like the game in general, as a content creator. And I do think that like bringing up, actual criticisms, valid criticisms is really important. But like, man, there's sometimes that, like with the bad, you do have to point out the good. I feel like there's a lot of people in the community now and for the last little bit that have been, basically doom posters. Everything is the worst thing ever. For anybody, I mean, that has played like even remotely competitive, every single season is the worst season of RTA that has ever existed.
Yeah.
Except when you look back on it, like, you look back on it with your rose tinted glasses and you're like, man, you know what? Golden Boys wasn't that bad. At least it's not C. Lilius Rimuru bad. But then when you were playing Golden Boys period, it's like, oh my God, dude, this is the worst season that has literally ever existed. This is just the end of the game. Golden Boys is the end of the game. And then, the game moves on, the meta changes, somebody gets buffed, somebody gets, some new unit gets put out, and it shifts the way things go. And I think that is overall like kind of the way that people, maybe people who haven't been around for a long time, or, maybe this is like their first competitive season, stuff like that. And I think that like, realistically, like that is kind of the way that every season goes, and it just goes and it goes, and every season, every unit that's put out is terrible. And then that'll bring me into Pirate Captain Flan, right? There's a lot of mixed opinions on Pirate Captain Flan. Since the very, very beginning, when she came out, a lot of mixed reviews on it. A lot of people are like, yo, man, dude, this unit is super good. Man, this unit's going to work into Rancy Saria Cleave super amazingly. And then people are like, yeah, but I mean, Hand Guy, right? I mean, I think Hand Guy is a menace. Yeah. I think that like if you can literally dismiss a unit because you just go, Uh, hand guy, and with them putting hand guy into with ML Quare coming back into Mystics, is going to be more prevalent. But it almost feels like Smilegate is in kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, where if they don't put out a unit that is really, really oppressive, everyone's going to be super sad. They're going to be mad about it. They're going to be like, this is an easy skip. Why do you put out garbage units? But if the unit is balanced, people will be like,
Yeah.
skip. Why can't you put out another unit that just one shots everybody? Right. So it feels like there has to be some sort of incremental power creep to a point. But also at the same time, I also feel like Smilegate could put out more units that are balanced, the more pirate captain flans that are, that theoretically good. And even though there's not like a ton of hype over her kit, people are still going to spend money. Like even back in the day before, I mean, like Landy, we had like a lot of units that were either like rock, paper, scissors niche, like Blood Moon Haste, although you could use Blood Moon Haste into a lot of other things, other than just Arby. I feel like we had like a good level of very minimum power creep, but then it all went off the rails and people come to this like expectation that if the unit is not better than everything else, it's instantly trash.
Yeah, I think a good example of that, from the kind of, relatively recent generation of champions is Closer Charles. Like, he's an ugly old man. You can say, like, his S3 animation sucks. But when he came out, like, everyone was like, oh, wow, what a worthless unit. And no, like, Closer Charles, I think, is one of the more interesting designed units they've released in a while. Like, he enables a lot of cool aggro strategies. He has some meaningfully different builds. Like, he has a relatively unique position as like a pseudo enabler while also being, true to his name, a closer, through his kind of evasion, and it's really hard hitting S1. But he didn't have that initial flash that really made anyone care about him initially.
Yeah,
um,
and the other thing too that was to his detriment was that he didn't have large, massive mommy milkers.
that definitely hurts.
Yeah, because I mean, to be fair, Smilegate can release a unit that is not really all that great, but the moment that they slap some massive mammaries on it, it instantly prints money, regardless of how bad it is. Because if you will look at any social media anywhere for a lot of booba units, people will be like, yo, I literally don't care. I didn't even read what the kit did. I'm still pulling for that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, Coach Charles did get meaningfully power crept by the incredibly impressive god tier openers that have been released recently. So he's lost a little
That's
bit
true.
of his ability to function in the meta, just because he's a, I think, fair opener. Like, I think it's
Right.
such a cool draft. I don't know. I can talk about how cool Coach Charles is for a minute, but like, I love fighting against him because it throws down this gauntlet of, oh, you think you're proccing S2? I'm gonna say, no, you aren't. And then we
Yeah.
get to have this fun struggle of like, oh, how are you enabling your DPS versus how am I trying to tank down so he doesn't get that proc off? And I think that
Right.
kind of battle is really fun to play through.
Do
Um,
you think that there's units out there that um are do have that ability to be very strong and be very in depth, but people are a little bit too papega to actually see the potential of a unit until well after said unit has left the available banner?
I think people definitely, um, there are units that are underutilized relative to what that can do for sure. And I mean, like, obviously, I think just the mola gating system really discourages
That was, yeah, one
exploration.
of the things that I was going to definitely lead into.
Mm.
Um, the mola issue, but the Unity update,
Yeah.
the Unity update could really blow the doors off of a lot of people being able to test stuff like that out. Um, but then again, also at the same time, you have the fact that mystics kind of suck
Mhm.
in terms of getting those units. So it's like, do you waste the mystics on getting Closer Charles? I tried to get Closer Charles, but I was in a period where I wasn't really spending much money on the game, and I actually did want Closer Charles a lot,
Yeah.
but I didn't end up getting him. One of the few. Same with Celine,
Mhm.
as well. So yeah, I think that it'll be interesting too, especially with being able to have the Grace of Unity to plus 15 those out. You might see some interesting pocket picks come out
Mhm.
um, with the double free bin.
Yeah. Um, and like it's also, I think, in different, like, again, as going back to what you were saying a while ago about how much of people's conceptions of the games are shaped around content creators. Like, most people probably aren't trying to hit like Legend RTA, and a lot of people don't have developed account as a lot of streamers do. And there are a meaningful number of options that can perform important roles in your comp that are worth building that aren't necessarily the default picks at the highest levels of the game.
Right.
Like,
But do you think that people just parrot it's like, and I brought this reference up on stream before for my on my stream, is that you'll have this in pretty much any competitive game, right? Take like League of Legends for example.
yeah.
um and it's a completely different game, but just for the sake of similarity, you'll have people that will tout a build that they saw on a stream from a dude who won literally the world championship, and they'll be like, oh well, I have to do that. That's the way that you build this unit, but that might not work for you because, well, you're not on that level of play.
Yeah.
And so in terms of like Epic 7, right, you'll have people that'll watch Elve Mage, and they'll be like, or YD, why I get this one a lot, because a lot of people obviously watch YD, right? They'll be like,
Mhm.
oh well, this is YD's build. And it's like, okay, well, but you don't have YD's account. And the person on Facebook who's asking for, hey, how do I build Judge Kisei, also does not have YD's account. So you telling the person that they need to be 315 with this much damage and like this other stuff doesn't actually help a person in terms of how to play the game, because playing the game at master, at challenger, at champion is completely different than playing the game at like legend or like high emperor. So people completely dismissing like a unit that may fit into your draft and fill a similar role are completely dismissed because, well, people just go, well, I saw a tier list from the dude who's fourth rank
Mhm.
on the ladder. Rip F in the chat for Elf Mage, two seasons in a row, fourth place champion. But you'll have a lot of people that will literally just parrot these legend level stats to people who literally don't have a legend level account, and I think that's detrimental from like a competitive stance, and from a just people kind of learning and having fun playing the game.
Yeah. So, like, a pick of mine that I play a lot for fun is Green Lots.
Okay, dude, I love
And
green lots.
and I think this meta, unless you have a couple of this like specific units to support him, like he still gets a little rocked by the incredibly oppressive openers like Pyrrha, Sea Lilius are just not fun to fight ever
Hmm.
because, but maybe double prevent opens that up a little bit. But like there have been metas where I think he is comparably good to Amelia, um,
Hmm.
because the way in which he cycles is bonkers, and his
Oh
healing
yeah.
output is really really high. Like So you put him on Tome, and ignoring any like other unit on your team, his S2 pushes himself by 60, his S3 pushes himself by 50, and his S2 pushes himself by 60. So
Yep.
just by himself, he's generated 170% CR for himself across 3 turns. In addition to, so let's see, 100 plus 100 plus 20, so 260 for his team. So he is actually like, in some matchups, literally the tempo god of the game.
Yeah.
And no one else has like ever played him ever.
Yeah, I played him in Guild Wars a lot back in the day. I would actually do regular A-lots with Spirit's Breath and then green lots Dark Corvus. And I would just slingshot Dark Corvus around like nonstop because I was like, oh my God, dude, Dark Corvus is a free win, but this is also going to take me 3 hours. So I was like, well, why not just slingshot this dude around nonstop and then just finish it way faster? Yeah, I've also used like regular lots, A lots in Abyss floors for memeing around. I am a big fan of A lot, so we can assume that you're on board for a summer lots skin this time around. I'll make sure that I reach out to Mashu and be like, yo, summer lots when.
True.
But yeah, I think that there's a lot of units that people, and goes back to like the mola issue, and something that people have brought up forever is, yeah, I'd like to play around with fun units. Yeah, I'd like to, try out maybe Fire Dingo and RTA, but am I going to commit the resources, commit the Molagoras? And I think that them bringing in the Grace of Unity is just absolutely amazing for things like that, because now you can go, oh, dude, on paper, I've got this like crazy draft that I want to do. Oh, this is going to be super. This would be so pog, man. Now you can actually try that. And I think that would be, I think that that'll be really, really healthy for the game. And I think it'll be really healthy too, even for like top legends. And I think it'll be great for content creators. I think that the Grace of Unity is probably the single best thing that they could do for content creators in the game, like ever. Because I mean, just think of how many debuts YD can do now that he can just instantly go, all right, cool, this is maxed out in plus 15. Yeah, 100% debut everybody in RTA. We got 300 units. That's 300 debuts.
True.
Seems pretty. That's like almost a year's worth of content right there. Just debuting every single day. But I think that it's really good for the game. I think that the way that they're going with that, the 100 molas is insane to me. When they were just like, oh man, you can get a free 5-star for each of the hunts and 36 molas, and we're gonna give you more molas. I wish they would just get rid of molas in general, but I've been against molas for pretty much ever. But I do think there's a lot of healthy things coming into the game, and I think that that's a lot of times like overshadowed by people just being like, yeah, but I don't win in RTA, so game bad. How lose if I'm good? It's clearly the game's fault that I lost. As evident before the stream, before the podcast, all of the losses that I had were not because I was bad at the game. It was because the game was bad, right?
Yeah. A tough question I think people need to ask themselves is, I feel like, the basic conception, and, this is how the human brain works, so, no real faulting you. But, like, you lose, and you're like, oh, why shouldn't I have won? But I think the more important question, how you actually become a better player, is why should you have won? A lot of people get Violet soloed. And it's like, well, I came into this, my best plan was to win the 45-55 roll against Violet. Like, okay,
Right.
that sucks to lose that, but like, were you actually favored going into that match? Like, yes
Right,
or
right.
no? Like,
Yeah, no, for sure. And I actually think that that'll be interesting once we have the RTA replays, because you can go back and you can look at it. Because I mean, yeah, sometimes you like think about it back in your head and you're like, yeah, I should have done this or I should have done that. And then you can look at it and you can be like, oh, I won because he got 3 dual attacks back to back to back. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Which will
yeah,
segue me into my next topic, the esportsification of Epic 7. Do you, Call, think that anybody will take the esportsification of Epic 7 seriously with 15% and dual attack?
yeah. I don't think those are intrinsic barriers to the enjoyment of this game as an esport. Um, especially 15%. Like of those two, I think we could do away with dual attacks without all that much negative effect. I don't think the game functions if we remove 15. Um, I think that just, like back in the day, F10A is not designed around stripping 4 immunities and landing 4 unbuffables and redirect proc on 4 people. Like, that's just not what her kit is supposed to do. Like, the way that debuffs are structured in this game is structured around the concept of 15%.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's a bit of a different concept that they're talking, like, actually going to the sportification. But, obviously, they're in a bit of a difficult situation as far as the esports side of things go, because, like, looking at the new world championship mode, it's got a really cool UI. Like, the intermediate screen is sick, the victory screen is sick,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also intrinsically tied to the thing that is perhaps their weakest point at the moment, which is the high level RTA balance. And
Right.
so they have a lot of cool things going around for, even the whole concept of the tournament is cool. Like, this is a silly mobile game. Like, the
Right.
fact that they have this high profile tournament is pretty hype to me. But
Yeah, well, I
also,
mean, like, to be fair, I mean, when I quit doing my tournaments, it was because it literally just got boring.
mhm,
It got boring to watch the same match 3 times, 36 times.
yeah.
Right. I mean, some people would shake it up a little bit and you'd be like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me wake up a minute. I gotta actually cast this one. Holy shit. He didn't first pick a Ravi or Rimuru. Man, we might have an actually interesting game here. But most of the time you're just like, all right, cool deal. So they didn't pick yet, but I guarantee that they'll pick an A Ravi and a Rimuru and a C Lilius. And oh man, look, yeah, that is exactly what they picked. I do think that that is going to be and it's a little bit rough to cast in general, right?
Mhm.
Um, I do think that the 15%, like I understand, and the 15% has been just kind of like hammered into the ground for ages, right?
Mhm.
Everybody has a solution to it. I always thought like one of the really good solutions was to just like be done with it and then just adjust everybody's debuffs to be 15% less.
Yeah.
So that way, like if it's 100% chance to hit, now it's 85% chance. Because one of the things that I hate the most is when you have a unit that has, like, let's say an 85% chance to land the debuff. It's not really 85% because you have 2 checks. You have the
Mhm.
85% and then you have another 85%. I've always thought that is just not great. I think that it's like, oh man, I actually did hit the 15% check, and then you're like, oh, another 15% check, fantastic. Oh, I love it. And but like with the esportsification, right? Um, you will always have some sort of controversy theoretically at the end of it, because someone's going to get a dual attack, someone's going to get speed RNG'd, someone's going to get 15%, and it's going to cost them the game. And that's really, you can't factor in, oh, okay, cool, I got dual attack 3 times in a row by a spec with a spec tenny. I've always thought that, like, even if they did keep dual attack, which they're going to, reducing the amount of damage that the unit that's pulled in with by like 50% would be more than fair, because bringing in like a fully buffed Spectre Tenebria, RB, whatever, like that's a lot of damage, and that's just, a 5% chance to completely swing a game completely different.
Yeah. So like, as much as I was just defending 15%, I don't think there's a similar defense for dual attacks. I think that kind of randomness there'll be no unit. The basic element is no unit is designed around dual attacks. Like, there's not a single one in the entire game. It's like, you remove dual attack, it's like, no, my entire kit is broken now. Like, okay, Emerald Sermia gets worse, but like, that's the worst feeling in the entire game, is when you lose because you randomly rolled a 5% into Sermia. Like, I lost a couple on the last day of last season. And oh my god, that's like a chuck the phone across the wall kind of vibe. When you dual attack on your first hit, this is your single possible thing that you can do before Sermia goes, and it procs her. Oh my.
Yeah, or when you're like, you pull in like a Bolian or something like that, and normally you would be super happy, except that it killed the Arbiter Vildred before you had a chance to put up your skill nullifier, and you lost. Like, I've had that happen sometimes too, where it's like, you dual attack, like you hit him with like a Soul Weaver just enough so that you can follow up with like a Soul Burn or something, and it kills him, and then you're like, sweet, I just lost the game for myself. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. So like, we could do away with dual attacks, but like, on the basic level, you can do 2 things in this game. You can win draft, and then you can not make mistakes piloting in game. And if you do those 2 things, you are over time always going to be favored in win rate. And so, like, as much as you can lose any individual game in any number of stupid ways, and, obviously, this is kind of the strength of ladder over tournament play. Like, I think by default, tournament play is obviously more skill expressive. But the benefit of ladder play is you get sample size. And so if you are consistently a good player, and obviously the rating system skews a little bit, where you should play more games, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We can ignore that for now. But generally, on ladder, if you are both favored in draft and not making mistakes while playing, you are inevitably going to climb to the highest echelons of play up until that you stop winning drafts or start making mistakes. And that is, I think, a good thing for the game. So I think sometimes people get too hyper focused on, like, so okay, this is I'm a little rambler, but like, I think
do it.
Very few accounts in this game are structured to try and win every match. I think less than 1%, much less than 1%, should have that as their goal to go in and win every game. So I'm a big proponent of not running 100% crit on units. My average crit, even ignoring like goofy units that bump their own crit in some way or another, is like 92. It is not very high. But I am relatively consistently competing against people who have better gear than me. And of all the stats I can cut out and still have a chance to beat them in a favored way, the one that lets me still be favored against them, but I give up some degree of consistency, is crit chance. So I'm basically pretending my gear score is a lot higher than it is by virtue of relying on crit to, on average, play out in my favor in matches where otherwise I would be heavily disadvantaged by virtue of gear.
Fair enough. You know what the other advantageous fact of having less than 100% crit rate is? When you don't crit and you lose because of that, you can easily just blame it on that. It's not your fault that you lost. 98% crit, man. That's just
So
is what it is.
I'm a fundamental believer that all RNG in Epic 7 RTA is purely, without fail, no other factor at all, a function of faith. So if ever your champion fails to do what you want, it's not their fault. It's your fault explicitly for not believing in them enough.
So you just need to believe in the heart of the cards and you'll win every match.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I personally think that it's just everybody else's fault and not mine. Like, I believed in them. It was just that the game is garbage and trash, and that is why I lost. Not because of any fault of mine. I believed in the heart of the cards. It just didn't deliver. Somebody else believed in the heart of the cards stronger than me. That is really what it is. But I think that I think that the problem with trying to like do the esports thing though is that if there is those types of RNG at like the end of a tournament, right? Like you've slogged through all of the tournament, having that smaller sample size of just 3 matches and you're done.
Yeah.
Having like the finals, like if one person just believes in the heart of the card stronger, like just believes super hard and just dumpsters the other person, like it's gonna be a tainted win, right? And yeah, the community is gonna be like, well, subsets of the community are gonna be like, you didn't deserve that. And you know, at a point, like I know that even for me, like sometimes if I'm like fighting people on the ladder and like I didn't intentionally meme by having 4 knights with Elbrus all in counter attack sets, you know, and my aim area just pops off nonstop, like it feels good, but like at the same time, you're like, did I really deserve that? I mean, I'll take the W. But like sometimes like you'll just get some like random crazy dual attack luck and you're just kind of like, yeah, you know, or you'll get 15%ed right at like a key clutch moment and then you lose and then somebody tags you in Discord and they're like, get wrecked, nerd. And you're like, yeah, dude, man, sure, you really outplayed me, dude. Like mad skill, you know, out like 5%ing me. You know, 15%ing me like 3 or 4 times in a row, dude. Just they're like, yeah, haha, 0 ER2, you know. So it always kind of feels bad, like in a tournament. But I mean, I understand that, you know, 15% needs to be there, or else, like, I mean, I would actually prefer that they got rid of 15% and actually fixed ER to be like a reasonably good stat to like dump into. Like, you have to sacrifice so much gear score for effect resist to be worthwhile. I think that would be preferential, you know, to that, because I mean it feels bad when you sacrifice everything to get like 300 effectiveness and you can still get 15%. Like I would almost wish there was like a diminishing returns, right? Yeah. I brought this up before where it's like if you're 100% over, like let's say it drops down to like, you know, 10%, 200% over, it drops down to 5%. And then like, man, if you just dump absolutely everything, you have somehow, you know, 300 effectiveness and they have 0 effect resist. I just feel like there should be 0 chance that they don't get debuffed, because you have to sacrifice a lot to, you know, get that amount of effectiveness, and they don't have to sacrifice anything for a 15% chance.
Yes. So I mean, I've thought about this a bit. I'm like obviously more res set oriented than a lot of players. I know some players like Iconic have, you know, kind of pioneered this whole new FRes meta, which I think is a cool thing. But
Kotick is a complete anomaly in this game and always has been. Like Kotick gear is like weirdly specific gear. Like I've asked Kotick in the past, like, hey, how do you build this? And he's like, look, man, you just got to have Kotick gear. Like it's the weirdest builds, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like, there aren't that many Banshee mains, and that's probably the biggest factor in this. But like, I don't think there's much style overlap between any Banshee mains that I know. They all we all kind of have our own like little weird idiosyncrasies as far as how we
Yeah.
play. Um, and I guess that's just if you're kind of going down this path, you're usually kind of doing it of your own accord rather than following some specific model.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, I don't know if there were many like made Landy open in rotation players out there this most recent season.
I mean, I have seen people talk about like running these like weird like 280 to like 280 speed Landy openers, um, which is kind of wild to me. So,
Yeah,
I like to see it, but
I've definitely seen a bit of that Landy. That's also like over 100 speed faster than I run my Landy.
yeah.
um, but yeah, so like as far as the going back to the esportsification topic, yeah, I do think like paring it down to that degree of sample size is detrimental to ensuring the better player wins.
Mhm.
Um, you know, there are, poker has been I think its heyday is a little bit fine as far as like television viewership and stuff goes, but poker has been a very successful game where it also has very high variance as to whether the, you know, player who played best will ultimately win.
Right.
And obviously
I
they
mean,
have
you
a
could
much
say that
bigger
about,
sample size.
yeah, I mean, you could say that pretty much about any card game, right? I
Yeah,
mean, there's like
Magic the
always
Gathering.
like, yeah, there's always an RNG factor in those, and those are good to, those are, big, viewer bases and stuff like that. I just think that like when it comes to Epic 7, um, the versus like a card game, right? You're not going to have somebody that's like, oh, well, you just didn't win because, you didn't top deck a force of will. you know oh man, your opponent top decked a force of will. Oh, what a cheat. Oh man, dude, oh, that's so cheap, bro. I feel like there's ways to like mitigate around some of that stuff,
Yeah, I mean, I think
whereas
there's
like,
some wanting to that
yeah,
effect in those communities, but less. Just it's more like
they do
ubiquitous
say
and like
that. Okay,
kind
that's
of
fair enough.
defined as far as how like um because like 5% is such a unique specific thing that will only come up in these very specific situations where it's like,
Hmm.
oh, you got mana screwed, like that's a baseline element of the game. um
Right.
so I think it is a lot more pronounced as far as how it functions in Epic
Right,
70s.
because wasn't there like some controversy and stuff like that in like a Summoners War tournament? Like, I don't know if you're familiar, but like a Summoners War tournament like a little while ago, because somebody just like mega luck sacked like all over it and just won, and then it was just kind of like, yeah, you didn't deserve that money.
you know um and like
And I guess
again,
really at the end of the day, though, right, call who has $50,000 and who doesn't, right?
yeah,
You
well,
know,
like, because there has always there are axes of things that we're trying to maximize here, and
yeah.
like competitive integrity of making sure the best possible player who played the best, drafted the best, gets the highest possible reward is an important axis of competitive play.
Yeah,
But also, like, was it fun to watch is also another integral fundamental part of how these kind of esports function. There are a
that's
lot of
true.
incredible competitive games that people don't watch because like moment to moment they just aren't that interesting.
Right. And that was always something that I kind of disagreed with New on, when I was running tournaments, was that New thought that like the RNG factors in the game
Mhm.
were very crowd pleasing and, really big, like exciting moments, right? I disagreed with him, but I think that it also comes from like a different standpoint of level of play from the player, right?
Mhm.
Obviously somebody who is like super well versed and knows just how bullshit 3 back-to-back dual attacks are, is going to be like, oh come on dude, you got another dual attack, like who'd you pay off at Smilegate to win this? But like your average player who's just tuning in for the gift rewards, and just wants to watch the tournament is gonna be like, oh my god, this is so exciting, oh, this guy's like Pog champing, Pog crazy and out of his mind with a dual attack. So I mean, I can see kind of like both aspects of it, right? And it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. I wasn't too impressed with the previous World Cup like stream commentating.
Yeah.
But you know, as a tournament organizer and streamer commentator, like yeah, I had my own gripes about that stuff. So I do think that they are like trying really hard to do that, and I think it's good.
Yeah.
Because realistically, like it does get more eyes on the game, right? Like if you see, oh my god, dude, somebody just $100,000 prize pool, that's crazy. That almost pays off half the amount of money that the person had to put into the game in order to get there. Oh man, they recovered half of their investment into the game. I could do that, man. Let's go, dude. So I think that that's definitely a cool aspect of it. I do hope that they do it well. You know, obviously I'm going to be trying to get my way into the World Cup mode. I think that that's going to be just good in general. You know, content wise and just, you know, actually testing. Because again, I haven't taken RTA seriously in like, I don't know, 2 seasons now. So I need to knock the dust off, and I need to get back into it. So that way, when I argue with people at 3 a.m. on Facebook, and they're like, "What are you, some sort of bronze scrub?" I can just screenshot, you know, my ranking and be like, "Man, you know what? I'm gonna make a video about you. That's what's gonna happen."
It's a good fallback
So,
plan.
yeah, it really a lot of my goals and ambitions in the game just go down to how hard I can flex on people that call me a clown on Facebook. That's really what it is at the end of the day. How petty can I be? That's my motivation.
I've had a couple moments on Reddit where I gotta go. I got a couple of legend frames right here in this little screenshot. What are you up to?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like, oh man, you want to tell me how to play the game? Oh man, that's crazy. How many legend frames do you have? I don't have any, because I'm convinced that the end of every season, somebody just takes out like a hit squad to DDoS my my internet for 2 days. Because for some reason, every season I'm like, you know what? This season I'm just gonna push from day one. I'm not gonna wait until the last 2 days of the season to climb and get legend, and then every season I do. And then every season, the last 2 days, my internet's garbage. Coincidence? Maybe the first time it happened, but afterwards, I know that it's the person who set up the bot to thumbs down my video every time it goes up instantly. So I'm on to him. This time, we'll see. But damn, we've been talking for an hour and a half. This is a typical Shotgun Shogun video. People are going to be like, man, can you make these shorter? And I'm just going to be like, no.
Hell no.
Fuck
you, YouTube algorithm. You're watching this shit.
Yeah, but yeah, any closing remarks or anything like that?
You know, I think there is a lot of positive things that happen in this game. I think there's definitely things to be happy about. I think Smilegate is still so again, I'm not putting this needs to happen by this date kind of timetable on SG. I think they are showing that they're trying to work through some things, and I don't think what I've seen presently is the answer or even in any way positive for the game. But I think using Frenzy, maybe down the line changing star signs, I think they have tools at their disposal to make the game better, and I think they, it's in everyone's incentive for them to try and make the game better. So
yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, even still, I think that like the incentive is there for them to make the game better, because that just means more
Yeah.
more money in their pocket, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, people who are like, oh man, they're just sabotaging themselves. I mean, they're still a business, right? And they're going to do what business dictates, and they're going to try to make money. So, when they start losing money, then they'll shift the way things go, and then they'll just keep tweaking things. I think a lot of people just need to kind of like give them a bit more time, because anyone who works in any sort of IT knows that things don't move very fast,
Yeah.
no matter what you do. So,
And like, I'm not taking the game all too seriously at the moment. Like, it's preseason. There's time to meme around. I love memeing around. And
I
so,
mean, preseason's the best for that.
hell
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Green lots, red Corvus, every game, baby.
Oh man, miss the old Corvus days. Kinda, not really. Call, are you gonna be streaming again?
Yeah. So things, went through the move, new job. I should be back to streaming tomorrow.
All right, fantastic. So, make sure shout out where they can find you.
Call 8x7 on Twitch, and that's it. That's all I got.
That's it. All right, cool. No OnlyFans or anything like that?
Not yet.
Not yet. So it sounds like RTA servers are going down for maintenance shortly. I would guarantee that there's going to be a change for the CR frenzy, but that is for another video and another episode. I'm Shotgun Shogun, and if you guys made it all the way here, comment down below as always that you made it to the end of the video, and like, fave, subscribe. Go follow Call on Twitch for way better for Banshee Gaming. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you will become a Banshee convert. I know that I've been a Banshee gamer for a real long time. I got a lot of Banshee mats I still need to craft up. But anyways, for the Infinite Library, I will catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy, homies. Peace. All right, cool deal.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, dude. Like at a certain point, I've always had to like look at how long I have been like recording. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I could talk for another like 3 or 4 hours, but like I should probably like keep it a little bit reasonable before I just ramble on for fucking ever. And then like sometimes like the guests will be like, hey, so I haven't, I've had to pee for the last like 3 hours, dude. Can you chill? I remember when I did the last tournament with Fart Pancakes and Genazad, and Pancakes was like, so like when do we take breaks? Like how long is this gonna go? And I'm like, what do you mean how long is this gonna go? It's the whole fucking tournament. I'm like 8 hours. Like you guys aren't in it for like the 8 hour tournament. I mean, I guess we can take breaks. Like, yeah, you guys don't have your diapers. Like, yeah, come on, man. Like, you're not gonna like sit around for 24 hours and farm wyvern and never use the bathroom and all, man. Come on. And she's like, I gotta eat at some point, and like, my family will get worried about me, and I'm like, man, that's crazy, dude. People ask me all the time. They're like, how do you do 24-hour streams? And I'm like, I just do. Like, what do you mean? Like, you guys gotta prep for 24-hour streams? I just play games for 24 hours all the fucking time. I'm gonna end the stream and probably just like go play some other games. The only reason I'll end the stream is just because, I want to take my pants off. Like, and that'll probably get me tossed on Twitch. Maybe I have to go into the like hot tub section. But yeah, no, dude, thanks for coming on and chatting. Like I said, I mean, I could probably talk to you for like forever, for sure. But yeah,
I love talking about things I like, and I like Epic 7.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I'll have you back on for sure, because I mean, I've been meaning to get back into doing the Infinite Library podcast, because I mean, I think it's good. I think that like at one point we had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different podcasts going on, which I mean, I think is fine from a community standpoint. I think podcasts and getting people together to talk about the game is really good because you get different different perspectives and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of people have kind of moved on, or they're taking breaks from things, which I also think that, you know, as a content creator is not a bad idea either. So, you know, I was like, man, I just talk to myself because chat's not real people half the time. You know, I think the chat's just bots. So I'm like, I need to get somebody on here, you know, to talk back and forth with. But yeah, no, dude, it was cool. It was cool chatting with you. How
Yeah,
was
for sure.
your St. Patty's Day stuff?
Oh, it was nice. I was able to.
You're not wearing green, so a
I
little bit
had.
disappointed.
Where are we?
I'm not wearing green either, so oh, there we go. Okay.
There
All
we
right,
go.
there we
This is
go.
my.
There's the green representation. All right. Oh, totally get it. Now you're very festive, but
Indeed. Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, I'll have you back on in the future. I actually like one-on-one
Mhm.
podcasts. Like back when I was doing it before and we had like three other people, it was always a little tough because like you only had so much time for each person, right? And there
Yeah.
wasn't like the the reciprocal like time where you like, you know, you trail off and that person, then you're back and forth, right? It was always like, okay, well, what do you think about this? Okay, what do you think about this? All right, what do you think about this? Now here's my rebuttal. At least this way it like
Yeah. Shifts
feels a
your
little
role
bit
from like a
more
to from a conversation to like a moderator.
right. Yeah, because I always did feel like it was like a moderator, and then you have like three people that you're just getting information from. At least like one-on-one, you know, it's more of like a conversational thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I definitely like this format a bit better.
I posted one podcast type thing once. Also, I'm so good at naming things just to flex a little bit.
Yeah.
um, but it was in the final week of the RTA season 2 seasons ago.
Uh-huh.
Because I didn't want to, stream games last week just because that's a pain. So I had a
True.
couple of my E7 homies on just to get drunk and talk about some of the stupidest questions I could come up with.
Hmm.
Like if you could combine two halves of any, like the top half and a bottom half of any E7 characters, what is your best unit?
Falconeer Quarry top half, Hua Young bottom half.
Eton Aether. Boom. um, but my name for that podcast was The Last Call.
The last call. Yeah, that was pretty good.
What a good name.
That is pretty good.
But I forgot to correctly assign the channels from the Discord call to saving on the VOD. And so the VOD recording of it is me just like talking and giggling to myself like a drunken lunatic for about 2.5 hours.
Oh man. Oh, that's got to, dude. You should have posted it anyways, and then like you could have came back and you could have been like, "Oh, hey, I'm this person, and then this is what I said," and then like you reacting to yourself and going, "Okay, look, man. For context, this is what they said. All right." I've actually had that happen to me before as well, because a lot of times when I'm recording. I record just my desktop because like I don't like wearing my headphones for like extended periods of time because then my ears get all sweaty and stuff like that, and you know, plus my headphones will die because I have, you know, wireless headphones. So because I have a good mic now that doesn't pick up everything behind me, usually I just have it on desktop audio, but Discord goes through my headphones. So yeah, sometimes I have to like switch it back and forth, and then like I'll realize, oh, I'm not recording this one thing that I need to record. So it is what it is what it
Yeah.
is. But chat and call, I'm gonna head off because I've got to do some
Yeah,
I do have to
thoughtful.
do some work stuff because I ignored like a bunch of work emails this afternoon. So I do have to go do some work stuff. But make sure, what time are you streaming tomorrow, call?
5:30 EST.
5:30 EST. I'll probably stream like I might stream earlier in the day. And then I'll just raid into you, and then I can go eat some dinner. But chat, thanks for hanging out. Call, thanks for hanging out as well. Everybody have a good night, and we will catch you later. Take it easy, homies. Peace out.
Gosh, Valk just raided.
What's that?
Valk literally just raided.
Valk just raided? Oh man, feels bad. See you later, nerds.
Yeah, get fucked, idiots.